So, before I start this video, I just want to get a little serious. So if you realize my voice sounds a bit different, that's because while I was working on this video, the phone that has my text-to-speech bot broke, and it probably can't be fixed. So I hope you don't mind that in the middle of the video my voice changes. It's really unfortunate because I had that phone since 2018, and it was the same phone I used to publish my first few videos. To put it simply, it was the phone that started my channel, and it'll be hard to let go of it. Also, that phone used to be my mom's phone, and she used it for as long as I could remember, which gives it more sentimental value to me. To me, that old voice will always be the most iconic, and I never wanted to let go of it. But, like what I said in my Mirako-chan video, changes are part of life, and we'll have to get through them eventually. However, I'll still try to fix my old phone, and I'll never stop trying every day. The thing that really bugs me is that I already recorded half of the lines in Toho retold the movie with the old voice, and now I need to come out with some stupid unnecessary story point to change their voices. But one thing is for sure though, if I ever have an office, I would hang that phone on the wall to remind me and my visitors that I wouldn't be here today without it. It may be a Samsung Note 3 to some, but it'll always be more to me. I hate to start such a comedic video like this, so without further blabbing, let's start the video.
Oh yes. April the 1st. April the 1st is known for its many traditions. If someone sits down on a chair, and you placed a whoopee cushion under it, and then fart sound, April Fools. If you cosplay as a scary monster, and hide behind a wall and then scare the person that walks near you, April Fools. Some random heart MILF, who teams up with a bunch of deformed turtles, to stop an evil mastermind, April O'Neil. If there are kids in costumes begging me for candy, but I'm broke so I prank them instead, hi, that's Halloween. April Fools. But what's the history behind April Fools, some of you might ask? Well, apparently, some dumbass thought it would be funny to extend the number of days there were in a year, and not tell anyone, so he could laugh at those people celebrating the outdated New Year on April 1st. Nah bro, that ain't funny, that's just mean. Then again, if it weren't for him, the annual passes would have been shorter, so I support this atrocity. But I don't think you should trust that story because, firstly, don't trust everything you see online. Secondly, I might have misunderstood the story. And third, El Macho faked his death on April the 1st, and that's personally to me the true history behind April Fools. But some of you might be asking, who asked? Well,
the answer is I asked.
And on goofy days like these, it's time to talk about goofy movies. Specifically Space Jam: A New Legacy. Now, if you've been following my channel since 2021, you'd know that I absolutely despise this movie. Like, this movie just straight up sucks. The story is bad, the writing is cringe, the jokes are unfunny, the editing is terrible, and the soundtrack is atrocious. God, I despise this movie with every fiber of my body. This movie is literally the meme of an old man failing to act cool, but for 2 goddamn hours. Some people say that it's bad in an entertaining way, which is understandable. But I can't, for the love of God, bring myself to remotely enjoy the movie. At least in the first Space Jam, there was space, and the soundtrack was a jam. But for the second movie, there is no space, and the soundtrack sucks. And don't give me that stupid excuse that the digital universe was space. The internet is not space, it's hell. Also, the acting and animation in this movie is just outright horrible. LeBron James' acting is so bad in this movie, but he has done other movies before, and he's pretty good. Even other actors, like Don Cheadle, who has acted really well in other movies, just kinda sucks in this one. Like bro, what the hell is Pennywise doing in the background? He looks like he's jacking off. And I honestly don't blame them. I mean, I too would not give my best if a script was that shitty. This movie's acting makes Michael Jordan look like Robin Williams as the genie. The 2D animation in this is respectable, but it's so sloppy, especially compared to the first Space Jam. The CG characters also look pretty alright, unless they emote, then it looks ugly. This movie had a $150 million budget. Don't tell me that all of that went to acting, because it doesn't show. An example of the acting and animation failing was Bugs Bunny's death scene. Like, the pieces were there to make an emotional scene, but the acting and character expressions just made the scene feel awkward. Also, did I mention how this movie's pacing is just terrible? This movie is almost 2 hours long, more than Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which has more plot elements by the way. Need I say more? I literally watched this movie to see Looney Tunes falling, not some stupid The Bronze Jade family trauma story. The sad part is, the story could have worked, if the writing and directing was done a little bit better. Speaking of the Bombay side plot, every character in this movie has an IQ of a negative number. If there was an exam and I took it with every character in this movie, I'd probably score the highest. This kid, who is implied to be smart by the way, gets manipulated by the Don Cheadle character. Bro, it doesn't take a Jimmy Neutron to know he was lying. Also, who the hell thought it would be a good idea to not make Daffy play basketball? Even before I saw the movie, I already knew it was a bad idea. Like, Daffy in the first movie was hilarious on the court. Also, there was false advertising of Daffy playing basketball in a poster, even though he didn't. Similar thing happened with Mervyn the Martian. One of the toys teased that he would play basketball in a giant mech. But no, he didn't even touch the ball. Hell, he didn't even get much screen time. It was so much wasted potential because Mervyn is the perfect tumbler, sexy man, and I'm sexually attracted to him. Go f yourselves, marketing team. On the topic of the characters, I don't really care about Lola's new character design, because I'm horny for some other Looney Tune character. But they didn't have to make her look ugly. Because of that, I can't take her seriously anymore. Literally the only average IQ characters are the Goon Squad, but I'll get to them later, because I'm still not done talking about this pile of garbage. Also, did I mention how bad this movie tries to appeal to as many people as possible but fails miserably? Porky Pig raps because rapping is still a thing, right? DC, you remember DC, right? Game of Thrones, and Wizard of Oz. Matrix, I freaking love the Matrix. Iron Giant, Hanna-Barbera and King Kong. Sussy imposter when the imposter is sus. Lazily recycled animations of monsters appear for no reason other than to satisfy fans of the original, and they also cheer for the opposing team, which is contradicting the first movie. A113 as a middle finger to Pixar. Big Chungus, you know. Animaniacs, Michael Jordan reference, Harry Potter, Batman, Wonder Woman, Casablanca, Rick and Morty, Austin Powers. But that's not even the worst one. This movie has the worst promotion I've ever seen. Forget the Transformers movies, or the Smurf movies, they pale in comparison to what I'm about to show you. And for those of you who didn't watch the movie, yes, this is an actual scene in the movie. A Nike symbol on screen for 4 seconds, and no, I didn't slow it down, it's literally just that for no reason other than to promote Nike in the laziest way possible. This movie did the opposite of what it set out to do. Now I don't want to buy Nike, now I don't want to buy HBO Max, now I don't wanna play basketball, much less watch a NBA game. Now, I don't wanna watch the Looney Tunes. Now I want Elmer Fudd to shoot Bugs Bunny. Oh wait, Elmer Fudd is part of Warner Bros. Now I want him to shoot Bugs, then shoot himself. This movie calls itself a new legacy, even though it made zero legacy, because a part of me is scared that this video won't do well, because of how outdated and forgotten this movie is. And you know you messed up when the original Space Jam director doesn't like the sequel and Chuck Jones didn't like the original Space Jam. The only good scene in the entire movie is a scene where the Looney Tunes practice basketball in a loony way, which got a chuckle out of me. But that makes things even worse because that's how the whole movie should have been. 3 out of 10. You should watch something better, and that's why I didn't give a spoiler warning for this video.
Excuse my voice. Yup, that's right, I have so much bad things to say about it, but it's still a 3 out of 10. Maybe it's because firstly, I was probably over-exaggerating. Secondly, I'm pretty sure one scene can carry an entire movie. And third, the Goon Squad. Do I need to say more? Yeah, no shit, I need to say more, that's why you all clicked on this video. Anyway, here's the reason why the Goon Squad are the saddest characters in cinema history. Before we start talking about the Goon Squad, how about we go through the definition of a villain? Well, Google says that a villain is an evil or wicked character that enacts evil action and/or harms others. In other words, a villain is someone who ruins the story. Now, let's run through some examples of villains from different animes I watch. Licorice Recoil, Majima, Happy Sugar Life, Nozomi Tojo, Asobi Asobase, that boy who pretends to be a girl. Or probably that racist-ass character IDK. Shield Hero, that bitch who framed the protagonist. Hanako Note, the 9-year-old girl. Your Name, A Shooting Star, Assassination Classroom, Professor Vitch, Helpful Fox Senko-san, Loli Cons, Rent a Girlfriend, The Writer, How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift, Fat Shaming, Spy X Family, Anya, Love Live School Idol Project, Nico Yazawa, Zombieland Saga, Truck Kun, Komi Can't Communicate, Ren, Idol Master Cinderella Girls, The Stupid Mio Honda Meme, Kono Shubarashi Sekai, The Memes, Kono Healer Mendokusai, Kono Annoying Ass Healer, Seaman Slayer, Everything, Other Animes, ecchi humor that no one finds hilarious. Anyway, that's all the villains I can think of now. Let's start talking about the Goon Squad. So anyway, the Goon Squad. I really like them. Not really. I think the Goon Squad had the potential to be actually threatening and meaningful villains if the writers gave them actual character arcs instead of making them one-dimensional villains. You know, make them like the Monstars from the first movie. I mean, everyone wanted the Monstars to be in the second movie, but I'm sure no one wants the Goon Squad to be in a third Space Jam movie, if there even will be one to begin with. Which I won't be anticipating if it does happen. But then, I started thinking about the Goon Squad, and how badly the writers butchered making characters with emotions. It was then I realized. The Goon Squad are good characters and we've just been looking at it wrong the entire time. So firstly, I'm gonna go through each member of the Goon Squad excluding Don Cheadle and Dom and Pete. So there is Wet Fire. According to the movie, his name is apparently supposed to be a genius pun. I disagree and think it's stupid. Also, his name just sounds a bit sus, but maybe it's just my mind. But do you know what really makes me feel sad for Wet Fire? The fact that he's really merciful. You see, Wet Fire has this ability of changing from water to fire. Wow movie, that's really stupid, thanks so much. Anyway, Wet Fire can change into fire anytime, but for almost the entire movie, he rarely uses it. He's mostly in his liquid form the entire movie, and he doesn't use his fire powers all that much. Even when he got absorbed by that big red Looney Tune guy, he could have easily turned into fire and burned the heck out of the tune to escape. But he didn't, because he knows that that will hurt the Looney Tune. OMG man, Wet Fire knows that fire is dangerous and that's why he doesn't overuse it. Man, if Wet Fire was truly evil, he'd be in his fire form the entire match. Maybe the writers were dumb and forgot that Wet Fire had fire powers. But I'll give them the benefit of a doubt because there's no way that the same writers that made Porky Pig rap could ever make such a mistake. But OMG, Wetfire is just such a pure soul. Next, we have the White Mamba. Now, I have two problems with White Mamba. Firstly, she ugly. Secondly, her name is racist as hell. Now back to topic, she's a snake, and that's her whole power. Snakes in movies are always the bad guys. And because of that stereotype, our brains immediately assume that White Mamba is a bad guy. Bro, I will not deny that she's mean and aggressive. But I'll also not deny the fact that she's rude to the Long Day because the Bronze Age and Lola were threatening the other members. She's so selfless and truly a role model. We should be like White Mamba and defend our teammates. Our third member is Arachnodwijenitstraniasm. I'll just call her Muffet. So Muffet is a spider, right? She has a nickname that goes by Queen of the Web. Okay, I have one question and one problem with that. Question, where's your kingdom? Don't worry King James, I'll get back to you. And problem, I think that's supposed to be a pun of Queen of the Spider Web and Queen of the Website. Wow, that's really stupid. Thanks so much Warner Brothers. On a completely different note, spiders are also usually seen as bad guys, which sucks. Honestly, Muffet isn't a bad person. Sure, she cheated a little by using her 8-leg thingy to shoot the ball into the hoop multiple times. But isn't that something we can all learn from? Because of Muffet, I learned that we should cherish our abilities and use them in difficult situations. That is so touching, and we should all be proud of what we can do. Plus, the Goon Squad cheated even more than Muffet, so does it really matter? Next, we got the Brow. What a goofy-ass name. Also, the Brow is an anagram for W Bro. Thanks. I hate it. Dwayne the Brow Johnson is so hot, not gonna lie. But there's one tiny thing that makes me feel really bad for the Brow. So before the game starts, Gerard Way starts mocking him for his huge eyebrows and how ugly he is. Bro, the Brow looks better than your ugly ass. If I were in the Brow's shoes, I would stomp on the Broadway until he was dead. But the Brow didn't do that. Instead, he just ignored the Prawn Bay and continued his business. You know, we really need to start learning from the Brow and start ignoring bullies. Truth be told, we'll be laughing at them once they go to hell. Anyway, the last member is Silverfish. Silver Mist. Quicksilver. Yes, Quicksilver, and Gold Robot version. Wait, his name is Kronos. That sounds kinda dumb. Anyway, the thing that makes Kronos such a likable character is the fact that he lives life to the fullest. Kronos is the type of person who doesn't waste time and actually enjoys what he's doing. Isn't that just respectable? As seen in the movie, when Kronos goes super fast, he doesn't only just play the basketball game, he also does fun things like give upon Jane a new pirate cosplay. You can tell that Kronos just wants to have fun and loves life. That's a lesson kids these days need to know. Just damn, the Goon Squad are such inspiring characters, and it's so sad that people mainly see them as villains and not heroes. The squad don't ruin the story in any way, shape or form. They're just trying to be their best selves and be who they want to be. But I still have problems with the Goon Squad. My first problem being that they look weird. CGI abomination freaks. This is probably one of the reasons why people can't take them seriously. Secondly, their names kinda suck. Like the name the Goon Squad sounds really stupid. The word goon sounds like a mix of boon and goof, which sounds stupid. I mean, imagine if they were called the Doom Squad or something, I would be shitting my pants. But personally, I don't think that's the actual squad's fault, considering that you can't actually change how you look or change your name. But do you all know what's truly the saddest part about the Goon Squad? The fact they were made just to die. So, you know how the Looney Tunes would be deleted if the Goon Squad won? Well, if you kind of think of it, the same thing would happen to the Goon Squad. Because the Toon Squad won, the Goon Squad was deleted. But some of you might argue, the only reason why the Goon Squad got deleted was because the game crashed. No. Do you really think that if the Toon Squad won without crashing the game, Don Cheadle would want to deal with them in the Serververse? I didn't think so. Hell, I'm pretty sure that even if the Goon Squad did win, they would also be deleted. Do you really think Don Cheadle would want to deal with those CGI abominations when he has thousands of other people in the Serververse? No, he wouldn't. Either way, the Goon Squad would be deleted. Isn't that just a much worse fate than the Looney Tunes whom we're rooting for? Imagine being born and new to the world before immediately dying in less than 10 hours. At least the Looney Tunes have the chance of surviving. Plus, even if Bugs truly dies, one person doesn't make me a mass murderer, so it's fine. Also, I recently rewatched this movie for this review, and it just bugged me how badly the Goon Squad were thrashed. To me, the worst thing the Goon Squad did was throwing the ball at the Bond's name several times. That at worst could probably fracture your skull or a bad headache. But do you know what the Looney Tunes did to the Goon Squad? The worst things the Looney Tunes did was literally hitting a train against one of the goons, and also making Kronos age from 19 years old to 132 years old. Last time I checked, these two things can and will kill someone. Imagine aging 113 years in 5 seconds. Painful straight up. But then there's getting hit by a train. That thing can leave a mark. People have died from getting hit by a train, and all the homies I know die from that experience. The bro was lucky he got out of that situation without dying or any major injuries. But either way, that would still hurt a lot. And don't give me the excuse that it's a cartoon, and therefore it doesn't hurt. Okay then, why were the Looney Tunes, cartoon characters by the way, injured after the first match? Hell, when I recently rewatched the movie, I realized that the Toon Squad abused the Goon Squad more than the Goon Squad abused the Toon Squad. That just makes me feel sadder for them. The Toon Squad abused the Goon Squad about 11 times. And the Goon Squad only abused the Toon Squad only 9 times. 2 of them being from the marketable toy, and 1 of them was from the Don Cheadle character. It's just so sad that these goons were made all just to die. They were good people, and had the potential to do good things and make society a better place. The only reason why we, as an audience, are cheering for the Toon Squad to win is because we're fond of the Looney Tunes. But I bet that if the Looney Tunes made their first debut in this movie, there would probably be a large group of people defending the Goon Squad instead of me alone. I don't know if the writers purposely made the goons this sad, but damn. I know that there are some of you who are probably saying something like, why are you getting so emotional over them? They're literally just AA. Alright then, answer me this, why do we feel emotional watching fictional movies? Why do we cry when watching Bing Bong die? Why do we cry when we hear Alma's backstory? Why do we laugh when Jack Horner says something ridiculous? Why do we feel threatened when the wolf in Puss in Boots is on screen? Why was the opening of Up so sad? Why was Bugs Bunny's death impactful to some? Hell, why did people feel emotional when the Terminator sacrificed himself? The Terminator is literally an AA too. Why are we all getting emotional over these fictional movies that don't exist? Similar concept applies to AA. Actually, that argument makes things even sadder, because it's even sadder when you realize that no one actually gives a shit about the Goon Squad, both in real life and in the movie. In not only our eyes but also eyes of the audience in the Serververse watching the basketball match, the Goon Squad will always be evil. And it's honestly not their fault, they were just like the Looney Tunes, fighting to live. And the only reason why the Goon Squad had to suffer is because of someone. And no, it's not Pete. Pete is an asshole and marketable toy, but at least Pete had a change of heart towards the end. It's also not the blonde fade, because he was just trying to be a good coach and trying to win and get back his son. If Dwayne Wade was truly evil, he would have beaten the shit out of the Looney Tunes after the first match was over, but he didn't. And of course, it's not Don Cheadle. The Don Cheadle character is a pretty bad villain because his plan kind of sucks, and also he's kind of a huge dick. But then you also have to realize that he was outcasted his entire life seeking attention from people. He's scared of being alone and dying alone. He's bored and depressed out of his mind. Just fuck. Don Cheadle tries so hard to make friends but just can't no matter how hard he tries, and that just resonates with me. I've been trying to make friends for a long time, but I kept failing, and it honestly just makes me want to start a villain arc and end the world. I'm sure most people want friends. I bet this guy wants friends. I bet this guy also wants friends. And him too. And him 3. I find it justified that Don Cheadle breaks because of his loneliness, Why do you think so many people went insane when they were quarantined? But the true villain, the true mastermind and asshole of this entire story, is Dom. Dominic James is a huge moron. I want to beat him to death. If you kind of think of it, Dom is living the best life any kid could dream of, but he's just so ungrateful. Dom lives in a freaking mansion with a gaming room with a rich and popular dad, has that cool-ass basketball dispenser machine, probably has tons of bitches, and he dislikes his life. Like, dude, you're the son of famous NBA player, no shit, he wants you to be good at your fundamentals. Lebanon blames is right and people will come to Dom to ask what he can do. That's just society. Dom, wake the hell up. I also feel that this kid got away too easily. He literally trapped everyone in the game, and in the end no one cares. His dad forgives him, his mom forgives him, the world forgives him. He literally caused thousands of people to never see their loved ones ever again, and he got away with it. No one cares because he's a kid. Plus, in the end, he's rewarded by going to the gang camp thing. Huh. In what way do you think Dom deserves what he wants after he already getting away with almost ending thousands of lives? Hey, remember how I was complaining about the Goon Squad's ugly designs and ridiculous names just now? Well, if you realize, Dom was the one who came up with all of those. It was implied he was the one who made the looks and names. This Jamal-esque character was the reason why the Bronze Chain and Lola made fun of the Goon Squad. It was never the Goon Squad's or Don Cheadle or even the CGI artist's fault that they were ugly, it was Dominic James. I hate Dom so much, he honestly reminds me of that asshole who strangled me because I befriended their crush. The worst part is, that person had like 9 other bitches. Dom, just like that person, isn't grateful of the luxurious life they're having and having the life people crave. Selfish as f. Hey, do you think Dom's name is pretty weird? Like, do you think that it might be a short form for something even bigger? Oh crap. Oh shit. Oh no. No 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 no. So basically, the Goon Squad are the saddest characters in cinema history because of how we all misunderstand them. That still doesn't automatically make the movie good though. I still have problems with the movie that I didn't state just now. Like how the Looney Tunes are afraid of getting deleted but Bugs Bunny canonically gets deleted and survives it with ease. Or how Bugs says that he'll never leave Toon World but he leaves Toon World to stay with a long play at the end of the movie because yes. Yeah, I just keep finding more and more negative things to say about this movie every time I rewatch it. It honestly boggles my mind how bad this movie is. But I will give the movie this. I did learn a new message from it. And no, it's not the message that we shouldn't control how people should act. Nor is it the message that home is where the heart is. And it's not even the message that we should be who we want to be. No no no. This movie taught me that we should give people a second chance. We shouldn't immediately judge someone just because they're opposing against people whom we're familiar with. Before we judge, we should analyze the situation and hear both parts of the story. Adding on to the message, we should also understand others first, before making a judgment. You know, maybe there might be someone whom you think might want to be alone but in reality, they might just want a friend. Maybe those quiet kids may have a plan to end the world if they can't find a new friend. IDK, never let them know your next move. Maybe we shouldn't care about people's names and looks because it's what's in the inside that counts. That also applies in a negative way. Sometimes we think people are good because they look friendly or we're biased towards them when in reality, they're actually evil. So bottom line is, we should get to know a person well enough before we make our decisions on who's the bad guy. Because maybe someone might be a psychopath, or they might be an angel. We never know. Don't jump to conclusions because truth be told, everything's a lies retold. On the topic of lies retold, I just wanted to thank you all for the 1,000 subscribers. It honestly blows me away how far we've come together. But for all I know it might turn 2,000 by tomorrow, and this section will become super outdated. You guys are so random, take that as a compliment. Even though only 1% of y'all subscribed, that kind of doesn't matter to me because either way, it's still a lot. So let's continue to support each other. And in conclusion, this movie is still better than Demon Slayer.